I guess it's me. uh, no, Tonight on Contemplating the Constitution, my news story in our Constitution in the News will be about the President and Vice President Inauguration Day. Is it March 4th or is it actually January 20th? And I get it from several different sources, and what I'm going to talk about is actually a little different than what I'm bringing you. But one of my sources came from a website called AFR.com, which is a financial review, and the headlines for this article, which I used for tonight, is Trump's DC hotel hikes prices for day. QAnon, I don't know how you pronounce that. QAnon, whatever, thinks he'll be QAnon. Okay, same difference. That shows you how much I follow this stuff. QAnon I'm going to read a few lines here. It's not there. Anyway, what's happening is that Trump's hotel, which is real close to the White House, is actually tripling its prices on March 3rd because so many people believe that the true inauguration day is actually March 4th, and that they have determined, the right people have determined that there was presidential election fraud and that they are going to actually inaugurate Trump on March 4th. Well, have you heard of the sovereign citizen movement? Most people have, I think. They are, let me read down here. Sovereigns, sorry about that. Okay. Believes that Americans are not subject to a variety of federal laws. They believe that a law enacted in 1871 secretly turned the U.S. into a corporation rather than a nation. They view every president inaugurated since 1871 is actually illegitimate. Members of the sovereign citizen movement believe that former U.S. President Ulysses S. Grant was the last legitimate president. And like other presidents in the 19th century, was inaugurated on March 4th. And the sovereign citizen movement believes that the republic will be restored and Trump will become the U.S. 19th president, United States 19th president on March 4th this year. So, in fact, it's not just this movement, but I literally last week on Contemplating the Constitution, I had somebody in the chat that was talking about this, and I found several other things. They're not the only ones that believe this. They just believe that March 4th was the deal. Well, it's just not true, because we go by the Constitution. And the 20th Amendment of the Constitution says, a part of it that applies to what we're talking about of the 20th Amendment says the terms of the president and vice president shall end at noon on the 20th day of January. If it was March 4th, then the true statement would be that it ends on noon of March 4th. And it doesn't. As a matter of fact, there's not a word in the entire Constitution that says March 4th. Nothing. This is just the traditional day that Congress had set up to give. This is great. You're going to find out more about this on the show tonight, but it's interesting. The reason that there was like 4 months from election day to inauguration day was literally to give the new president time to travel from wherever they lived to the White House. It gave them that much time. Of course, today you got transportation, everything else is new and different, and you really don't have to have that. But so it's interesting. There are a lot of people that still believe. I've heard the word March 4th or the date of March 4th several times in the past couple of months. And it's just not true. It's just the traditional date of old. As far as Trump is concerned, it's interesting though that Trump's big hotel just a couple of blocks from the White House has actually tripled its rates for March 3rd, meaning that they're expecting just a tonnage, by the way, my name day, a tonnage of people to show up in Washington, D.C. on March 3rd for that inauguration.
Well,
there you go.
20th Amendment added to the Constitution.
20th Amendment is the one that gives the actual. Matter of fact, it's so funny. In the entire Constitution, it's the only one that gives a specific time, noon, and date for anything.
Yeah, but when was it instituted?
You remember January 23rd, 1933.
There you go. So they're saying that is not part of the original Constitution. It was instituted after 1871, so therefore it's null and void.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. Legitimate, federal, all that stuff. They're saying that we're actually not. Okay, I'm sorry, I lost it here.
Yes.
Yeah, it's that we are a corporation and not a nation.
Right.
Eddie, Tammy, talk about it for a minute.
Well, we don't know a whole lot of it. We've got a very good friend who is helping people to do their paperwork so that they can come out of Babylon as
be sovereign.
Yeah, be sovereign citizens instead of being slaves to the system.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. I haven't done a whole lot of study into it, but it makes a lot of sense if in 1871 the government was stolen. That's why we have such fraudulent elections now. And it was only God that really put Trump in the White House in the first place. True. Because it overcame all the fraud that they had put into the system to begin with. Unfortunately, this time they halted the counting so that they could insert more fraud.
Yeah.
If I might, Eddie, if I might respond to this, the real key to this, as far as I'm concerned, is there's no date in the Constitution, period, without this amendment. It was just a traditional date. As a matter of fact, Washington was not inaugurated until April. It's just literally, it was a tradition set up after Washington was, I think even before, but something else happened. I have it in my report for tonight. But so really, even if they're going by the original Constitution or the taking over of whatever the government or anything like that, even before the Constitution, doesn't make any difference. That date is just hypothetical anyway. It's just something that they came up with. So go ahead, Eddie. I'm sorry.
Well, along those lines, I've heard through the grapevine that the transition of control of the military won't happen until 60 days after the inauguration. That Trump is still in charge of the military.
I don't know where you get that from.
I don't know where they get it from.
It's not in the Constitution.
But they're saying that he is in charge of the military for the 60 days following his departure from office.
I'd like to be shown that. I don't think that's true. I just
don't. It would explain to me why we still have we had one of our carriers enter the South China Sea because I would not see the Biden administration doing anything to offend China.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that Biden has come out and stated that he won't lift the sanctions until the Iranians stop
Producing
enriching uranium. I was shocked to hear that because hey, you know who he's a puppet of Obama, and Obama loves Iran, and I would think it would be unconditional his reneging on the sanctions what Trump did. You know, he's reversed everything. It's just absolutely insane what he's done in his first week and a half, 2 weeks in office. It's catastrophic in my humble opinion.
Well, there's a whole lot more puppet masters than Obama. Obama is a puppet himself. So for Biden to be a puppet of Obama is really it's a whim, because there's a whole lot more pulling the strings here behind this. So anyway, there you go. So don't go to Washington, D.C. and decide that you want to stay in the rooms in Trump's hotel normally go for $8 a night, and they've tripled those rates. I'm sorry, $8,000 a night.
Are you serious?
$8,000 a night, and they've tripled those prices.
Well, you know what? To pay the legal fees for the regime, for the totalitarian regime that stole because he was not elected. President Trump was elected.
Exactly.
But they overthrew through insurrection and other things. So to have those people that want to stay in the pit of hell in Washington, D.C., in that mud, that quagmire, to help, the man took zero salary, increased those prices, and let those liberal Dems. Of course, they probably wouldn't stay in Trump hotel anyway.
No, it's true.
They've also said that during the 4 years that Trump was in the White House, he lost 50% of his net income or net worth. So, you know, if he did decide to go ahead and leave after 4 more years, he'd be broke. So, you know, can't really blame him in that regard.
Yeah, I don't think he's worried about it.
What did trouble me over the weekend was the report that they had intercepted, I think, 11 illegal Iranians coming across the border, which to me would indicate an assassination hit team, because they want revenge for Soleimani and the other doctor that got killed. They want revenge, and to me that would have represented an Iranian hit team. And I just hope and pray that they did get them and that they prevent it. But that's what President Trump is having to deal with, because he's got a price tag on his head wherever he goes because of that.
Yeah. They interviewed one of those people, those Iranians that ran across the border. They asked him, "How'd you get here?" And they said, "I ran."
That's good. I like it.
All right,
brother, that'll preach. Amen.
Okay. All right. Well, is there anything else real quick that anybody wants to bring up on this topic or something close to it?
Well, other than the fact we've heard Satan's going to be cast down from heaven on March the 21st. On March the 28th, we're going to have the impact from the Jupiter collision event. There were 2 orbs reported in a Middle Eastern photograph, 2 big, huge orbs. You saw
planetary-looking orbs.
Did you see? You saw that, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I sent it to her.
Oh, you sent it to her. Okay.
Well, and John had already done that too. So.
So other than those things, the beast will be reigning by March the 21st, according to what we've heard in the timeline.
Well, I have something to say, because unless you follow Torah according to Hebrew, you are not human. So the beasts in the field are already reigning pretty much everywhere. But the beast That's a whole nother story. Hey, my thing is, because some attribute that to Nibiru or Planet 7X, but if that was the case, then those things would still remain in the sky a day or two later, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
So
it could have been holographic. It could be extra dimensional, because when we have what I believe will be the manifestation of these fallen angels, they will be portrayed as extraterrestrials, coming from Ursa Minor and who's that? The Thetans, Pleiadians, so forth.
Pleiadians,
they're not extraterrestrials.
they're fallen.
Extra dimensional. And when you're talking about dimension, something can appear before you and then boop, be gone. You could have a planet. You could have a planet. You could have something the size of Jupiter hanging over your head, but it'd be extra dimensional instead of being actually in our dimension. Because if you have something that big, that close to this planet, gravitational forces will take over and rip us apart. It's just that simple. So therefore, what you're seeing does not really exist in this realm.
That's a good point. I hadn't thought of the dimensional aspect, though I do think of dimensional things and I talk about it, but I hadn't thought about that for these two particular objects. So that's very interesting. Very interesting.
That's why you have people that say, well, they take these photographs and you see two suns, you see two moons or whatever, these incredible objects that are photographed, and you say, well, there's just absolutely no way that could be there. It can, if you understand the different dimensions that there. I mean, we're just 3 dimensions. There, we live in 3 dimensions, and I have heard it said there's 38 dimensions.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's deep Kabbalahism for you. Okay, that's getting out there.
More
and
like
I'm
36.
not a Kabbalist, but I've heard them say that.
Their number's 36.
Yeah, 36. There you go.
Aren't there 42 parallel universes too?
That's that's a good number. I love 42,
All right. Well, I want to say hey to Bob and Aspen and Beryl, and hopefully John is listening as well, and everybody else out there. Hey, let us know you're here. But if not, if you don't want to do that, that's okay too. But we are glad that you've joined us.
Amen.
And with that being said, guys, look for the truth. Don't listen to your mainstream media. Listen to this show. There's news updates here. But also search things out. Turn off the thing that tries to brainwash you and bring you a new vision, the television, and be a seeker of truth, not only in scripture, but in life as well. So,
yes.
We are richly blessed to bring you what we believe is the fullest, most diverse, yet up-to-date progressive teachings, discussion, and prayer programming you can find anywhere on this planet. Be sure to take the tour of the MessianicLambRadio.com website. I'm Susan Hoogie, thanking you for joining us on the Messianic Lamb Video Network.